Last week, S&P 500 gained 2.6% from bottom to top, and from bottom to closing, it gained only 1.25%. Now, S&P 500 was very much expected to remain bullish. Why? The reason was the heavy divergence in the MACD on the weekly chart of the S&P 500, and I have discussed this thing in very detail in the previous S&P 500 weekly technical analysis. So now in this case, there are three important candles or three important days. This is 27th of January, this is 29th of January, this is 31st of January. These 3 days are or were very important, not just for the S&P 500, but for the entire market, including the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq. Because these 3 days, whatever happened in these 3 days, is also going to impact the movement of the market in the next week. On Monday, S&P 500 opened at 5969, and intraday it moved up and hit 6017.17. So on Monday, irrespective of anything, it was clear that it will move up to at least to 6006 on Monday. And this was my comment to my Patreon community members at 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time on Monday, that the Dow Jones has erased all of the losses and is now trading in net positive, and also the S&P 500 has gained 6006, which it was expected to, and is now heading to the zone. The Monday has then cleared and confirmed that okay, now the market, including the S&P 500, Dow Jones and Nasdaq, is now looking for more bullish movement, and this bullish movement will be seen at least until Tuesday by the end of the day. And Tuesday we have seen a good or a heavy bullish movement in the S&P 500, and the most important part was that it managed to clear and sustain above and also close above 604x strong resistance. It is expected to hit 6100 by the end of the week. Now, whether it will actually hit the 6100 or not, it was then very much clear on Wednesday, because on Wednesday the FOMC decision was released and also the press conference of the Federal Reserve Chairman. Now, in the entire press conference of the Federal Reserve Chairman, in these the comments, especially this particular comment, I mentioned that so far there is nothing which can concern the market heavily, and also there is nothing which can cheer up the markets heavily. This means neutral. This means neutral. That market means S&P 500, Dow Jones, Nasdaq will go neutral. Now comes the most important part and the most important day, because whatever happened on Friday, it will impact not just Friday but all of these the days, but especially the Friday was very important. If you see, there is a partial engulfing. This is going to impact the movement in the next week, especially on Monday and Tuesday. What happened is that S&P 500 gave a good or a heavy gap up open, okay, moved up, gained 6101. This 6101 was 100% in the picture and made a high at 6120.91. However, at the same time, Dow Jones also gave a gap up open, but it failed. It failed to clear the current ATH, which was 45,074. And in my midday update yesterday on Friday to my Patreon community members, I mentioned that everything will remain good and favorable as long as S&P 500 is trading and sustaining at above this zone. This is small support zone. And also Dow Jones is trading and sustaining above this strong support level, this level. This means that the picture will start to change when the SP 500 loses this the level of this zone, okay, the lower level, and also at the same time Dow Jones loses the strong support level and move towards the next level. And the condition of the entire US stock market will start to deteriorate when the Dow Jones loses this particular support level. So 44th Losing 44,008 means now the fall will begin, the selling will start. Okay, and losing 44,600, okay, at the higher side, this level was there, means now there will be more and sudden and or in simple words, the fall will accelerate. And whenever the S&P 500 starts to trade below this level, which was of this zone, okay, in that case 1% fall, 1%, a minimum of 1% fall will be there intraday. Now, the exact impact of this candle on Monday and Tuesday and for the rest of the week. Okay, so I will discuss each and everything in detail in this S&P 500 weekly technical analysis. So guys, please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not yet subscribed. And if you are looking for these daily precise updates of the S&P 500, Dow Jones, and in a manner to the entire market every day from Monday through Friday, pre-market update, midday update, final update, opportunities in the premium stocks, everything, then you can join my Patreon community. I have given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. Now guys, I am going to discuss the agenda of this S&P 500 weekly technical analysis. So once again, let me clear that all of these three sections of the agenda of this S&P 500 weekly technical analysis are interrelated, are interconnected. This means that when I say the probable movement here, then I have already discussed 30 to 40% of the probable movement in the first and the second point of the agenda, because I discussed the candles, the patterns in very detail in the first and the second point of the agenda, and then rest of the 60 to 70% probable movement in this, the third and the last point of the agenda. This is why it is highly recommended that you should watch all of these three sections in order to understand clearly what is going to happen in the next week in the S&P 500, Dow Jones, and in a manner to the entire stock market. The first point of the agenda will be the S&P 500 technical analysis on the weekly chart. This bullishness is actually the result from the weekly chart, because the MACD on the weekly chart of the S&P 500 was supporting a bullish reversal. Okay, and because there was an intraday retrace and S&P 500 closed at 6040 after the retrace on Friday. Okay, it has again opened some possibility of bullish movement or a bullish candle in the next week. Okay, so I will show you the weekly chart, I will show you the technicals, especially I will discuss the MACD again in detail. Okay, and I will tell you that why the trend is still bullish. Okay, and a lot more is required in order to change the trend. Second point of the agenda is the S&P 500 technical analysis on the daily chart. On the daily chart, again, it is in the bullish trend. Clearly, see, you can see the ladder. Okay, there is a ladder and you can clearly see the bullish trend. Okay, so on Friday there was a heavy bearish candle. Definitely it will bring bearish impact on Monday, but this does not mean that it indicates any reversal. No reversal as of now. Okay, yes, there is one condition, and this condition will be seen on Monday. If this condition fulfills, this is a bearish condition. If this bearish condition fulfills on Monday, then definitely we can anticipate more fall. Okay, and that can eventually change everything into the bearish trend or bearish side. Third point of the agenda will be the probable movement of the SP 500 from February 3rd, which is Monday, through February 7th, that will be Friday. So I will tell you that what we are expecting to happen in the market. Okay, what will be these important bearish conditions? Okay, and if this bearish condition is fulfilled or is seen on Monday, then why there will be fall? And if there comes fall, then to what levels? What will the limit of the fall? Or if the market sustains, S&P 500 sustains, Dow Jones sustain, then will there be any possibility for any more bullish movement? Okay, if yes, then to what levels? I will discuss each and everything in detail in the third point of the agenda here. Now guys, I am going to discuss the first point of the agenda, and this is the weekly chart, W as in weekly chart. Okay, weekly chart means one candle represents 1 week, not 1 day or 1 hour. One candle means one entire week, Monday through Friday. Now, first comes the candle. So if you look into this candle, okay, it's a bullish candle, and the closing of the candle is above the open of the previous candle. If the closing of the candle would have been above the previous candle, okay, means the closing of the previous weekly candle was 6101. Okay, that is why I was emphasizing on 6101. Okay, and on Friday and on Thursday, okay, it was kind of confirmed that it will be moving to 6101. But at the same time, on Friday, everything can simply change and we can see good fall in the entire market. And why there will be a fall on Friday, even though we are expecting a gap up open or a bullish movement, and then there will be a fall on Friday. Okay, so this was my mid-week update on Thursday before the open of the stock market on Thursday. Okay, and I've discussed all of the conditions here. So this is actually a video technical analysis, and here I've discussed in detail the condition of 45074 in the Dow Jones and its impact on the SP 500 and Nasdaq, and why there will be a fall even if there comes a bullish movement, a gap up open or so on Friday. And then through these updates, it was 100% clear. Okay, now there will be a fall. So guys, these are the updates that I give to my Patreon community members every day from Monday through Friday. Pre-market before the open of the stock market, midday update after 3 hours, final update before 2 hours before the closing, and then the midweek update, the technical analysis on Wednesday, Thursday, and the opportunities. So if you also want to get these daily precise updates of the S&P 500, Dow Jones, and in a manner to the entire market, then you can join my Patreon community. I have given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. And also guys, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. So now this candle is a bullish candle. Now this bullish candle indicates one more thing. If you notice, this bullish candle managed to sustain and close above the moving average. Okay, just like what we have seen here, here, here. Okay, what does this indicate? This indicates that the market can still sustain bullish, although this does not confirm a gap up open on Monday because there was an intraday heavy fall on Friday. Okay, otherwise this candle would have confirmed a gap up open on Monday, or irrespective of any open and initial or intraday bullish movement. So as of now, this does not confirm any gap up open on Monday, but yes, it does confirm an initial or intraday bullish movement on Monday. Okay, not just on Monday but also on Tuesday. So now this candle indicates that on Monday and also Tuesday an intraday or initial bullish movement, and also not just Monday and Tuesday, but because I am discussing the weekly chart, this also indicates that there will be very heavy probability that by the end of Friday, okay, by 7th of February, the market is expected to retrace. Even if it trades bearish, then also it is expected to retrace, and if all goes well, then it can even close bullish. The closing on Friday was 6040.52. It can close above this, the 6040.52, if all goes well. Now what is this if all goes well? So that I will discuss, okay, through the technicals on the weekly and the daily chart and in the probable movement section in detail. Okay, so for now this candle is clear. Now let's analyze the Dow Jones. So why Dow Jones again? Because if there will be any trap or any traps, then it can be seen through the Dow Jones. If you notice the candle of the Dow Jones, okay, last week, and again this is the weekly chart and the weekly candle. Last weekly candle of the Dow Jones, open of the candle is below the previous closing, but the closing is above the previous candle. Okay, so the shape of the candle is not defined. Now the shape of the candle is not defined, but the closing, even though there was the open was below the previous closing, but the closing of the weekly candle is above the previous candle's closing. Okay, indicating bullishness. This means that whatever happened on Friday, whatever was seen on Friday, it may not impact the continuous or the continuing the bullish movement. Okay, so this candle simply indicates continuation of the bullish movement. This candle indicates continuation of the bullish movement and on Monday, okay, an initial or intraday bullish movement. Now, this is the interpretation of the candle. However, at the same time, we must also consider the high of the candle. The high of the candle was 45054 and the all-time high is 45074. Okay, so you can see the difference. The Dow Jones last week failed to hit, test, breach its current ATH level. This means that whatever bullishness will be there in the Dow Jones, this bullishness will be limited. Okay, this bullishness will not be heavy. No heavy bullishness. Just limited bullishness. Limited bullishness means that if there comes a gap down open, okay, and the Dow Jones comes down and also SP 500 comes down, Nasdaq comes down, then also the market will be in a condition to recover. Okay, but recovery will be limited. As long as Dow Jones is trading in this condition wherein it never tests, hits, breaches its current ATH, okay, now it will remain in weak bullish condition. This weak bullish condition will then turn into the bearish condition, short-term bearish trend if the Dow Jones fails to hit, breach, test in next 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. And this is the same thing of 45074 I have discussed in my mid-week update video. All of this simply indicates that yes, the S&P 500 and Dow Jones. And see, so far I have not discussed the technicals. Okay, I am simply discussing the candles. So far it indicates that on a Monday, okay, irrespective of any open, there will be an initial or intraday bullish movement. Okay, if there comes a gap down open, then also it will be in a condition to recover. But how much it will be able to recover, okay, it will actually depend on the levels and the zones. Okay, but it will be in a condition to recover. Now let's analyze the technicals. So in terms of the technicals, first comes the S&P 500. Moving average is clear fan out. Closing is above the moving average is bullish. S&P 500 is bullish through the moving averages on the weekly chart. S&P 500 is bullish through the Bollinger Bands on the weekly chart. S&P 500 is bullish through the Ichimoku cloud on the weekly chart. S&P 500 is bearish through the MACD on the weekly chart. S&P 500 is bullish through the stochastic RSI on the weekly chart. Okay. So what does all of this indicates? All of this indicates that the S&P 500 is still 80% bullish on the weekly chart and is in the bullish trend. The trend has not changed. Now let's confirm the same through the Dow Jones. Dow Jones, the same thing. Dow Jones is bullish through the moving averages on the weekly chart. It is bullish through the Bollinger Bands on the weekly chart. It is bullish through the Ichimoku cloud on the weekly chart, and it is bearish through the MACD on the weekly chart. It is bullish through the stochastic RSI on the weekly chart. Okay, so Dow Jones is also 80% bullish on the weekly chart and is in the bullish trend. Okay, so 80% is a lot. Okay, 80% bullish movement, bullish trend. This means that that irrespective of anything, the market should move up higher and higher, right? No, 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 absolutely not. Even though it is 80% bullish, okay, still there is a major problem. Still there is a major problem in both of these indices, S&P 500 and Dow Jones. What is that? Again, the same thing, MACD. This MACD. Now, this MACD is a problem as well as a blessing. A blessing. Okay. Blessing. It is a problem as well as a blessing for the S&P 500. Okay. However, in case of the Dow Jones, it's not a blessing, it's a problem. Now let me clear this thing. So you can notice MACD is bearish. This is the, and again, this is the weekly chart of the S&P 500. Okay, MACD is bearish. The divergence is heavy. Okay, so first, that the MACD is bearish, this means that a sudden fall, sudden means instant fall, okay, can happen in the S&P 500. It is allowed, it is technically allowed, okay, and the fear of a sudden fall or a heavy fall can happen in the S&P 500, and it is technically allowed, okay. So this is the bearishness, this is the problem, okay. Now the blessing is the divergence in the MACD, this divergence in the MACD, okay. See, you must notice that this week, the week of January 13th, we have seen a heavy bullish movement, like it was 6%, 4 to 6%, okay, within 1 week bullish movement. This was because the MACD, the divergence of the MACD was very heavy, and this much divergence is not allowed. So if you watch this my weekly technical analysis for January 13th, okay, then you will see that I've discussed in detail that this much divergence is not allowed. Therefore, there are very heavy, extremely heavy chances that there will be a heavy bullish reversal, and eventually there will be a green weekly candle, okay. Now that divergence is still there, it has come down a little, but it is still there, and because the market is not sustainable, okay, at this kind of divergences we have seen again and again, okay, that the market was compelled to give a bullish reaction, okay, a bullish movement. This is why it is also a blessing, okay. Means there will be a fear of sudden and heavy fall, no doubt about that. There will be a fear of sudden and heavy fall, okay. Even a small thing can trigger a heavy fall, heavy selling, okay. But at the same time, this divergence, as long as this heavy divergence is seen in the MACD of the S&P 500, there will be very good chances that market will remain recoverable, and it will recoverable means that market is allowed to, technically it is allowed to trade bullish and even to close bullish, to give a green candle, a green weekly candle in the next week, okay. So problem and blessing. Now Dow Jones, it's a problem, okay. Dow Jones, it's a problem, no blessing, okay. It's a problem. Why it's a problem? Because the divergence is okay, divergence is fine, okay. Means now that it has converged, there was the heavy divergence in the Dow Jones because of this heavy candle, two candles, okay. It has already covered that, and the third candle, okay, it has covered that. Means the Dow Jones is now out of that the divergence, okay, that the heavy compulsion of the divergence, okay, it is trading normally. But because the MACD of the divergence, MACD of the Dow Jones on the weekly chart is trading bearish, so again a fear of sudden fall, instant fall. So now this picture will be very much clear on the daily chart of the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones. But guys, before that, if you have liked this video so far, then hit like, and I will consider this as an appreciation for my work. Now guys, I am going to discuss the second point of the agenda, and here I will do the technical analysis of the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones on the daily chart. So this is the daily chart. Daily chart means one candle represents one day, not 1 week or 1 hour. One candle means one day, okay. Now let's first discuss this, the last candle. If you notice this last candle, okay, it's a heavy bearish candle. There is no defined shape of the candle, but yes, this candle is very heavy in a manner that the body of this candle has completely engulfed the body of the previous candle. But this will not be considered as absolute engulfing, no, okay, because for the absolute engulfing to happen, the body of this candle must engulf the entire candle, the previous candle, which is not the case. So it is partial engulfing. What does this indicate? This indicates that on Monday, okay, we are anticipating an initial or intraday bearish movement in the market, means in the S&P 500. Okay. Now you might be thinking that through the daily chart of the S&P 500, I'm talking about initial or intraday bearish movement. And on the weekly chart, okay, I mentioned initial or intraday bullish movement. So how this is going to work? Okay, sure. So I will clear, I will clear your doubts. But first, let me cover the candle of the Dow Jones. Okay. Now, this is the Dow Jones. Now, if you notice, the open of this candle was 44,548.69. Okay, 548.69. The closing of this candle is 44,544.67. See, 548 and the closing is 544. Okay, so this means that there is an absolute engulfing in the Dow Jones. See the magic, just by 4 points, an absolute engulfing in the Dow Jones. Okay, now one more thing, very important to consider, that this the last candle of the Dow Jones has not only engulfed the previous daily candle, but it has also engulfed these two candles. Means in total 3 candles, it has engulfed these 3 candles. Okay, this just one last bearish candle. It's a heavy bearish candle indicating bearishness or heavy bearishness, and this says that on Monday, a gap down open or an initial or intraday bearish movement on Monday. Okay, and if all goes well, if the market remains under pressure, then on Monday there will be a red candle. Means on the closing basis, the closing will be below 544. This is the last closing. Okay, because there is heavy, very heavy. Okay, this is the engulfing. So now let me clear your doubt. Okay, that on the daily chart, okay, the candle is indicating means the Dow Jones is even indicating a gap down open. Okay, or irrespective of any open, an initial or intraday bearish movement. This is seen in the S&P 500 and also in the Dow Jones. An initial or intraday bullish movement, okay, in the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones through the weekly chart. How this thing is going to work? This is the opposite combination. Okay, if there comes a gap down open, let's say there comes a gap down open, okay, then the Dow Jones will be under pressure, but there comes the see, as of now there is a level, before the moving average. There is a level. Okay, so Dow Jones will get the support at the level. If it loses the level, then comes the moving average. Okay, it will find the support at the moving average. It will fulfill this condition, bearish side condition fulfilled, then reversal, and then through that reversal it will again try to trade bullish. It will try to trade green, means it will try to breach the last closing or its open. Okay, so then the bullish condition will be fulfilled. So in this manner it is going to work. And guys, there is a reason that why I always emphasize on the candles, because even if you see, most of the times even the technicals can fail, but the candles will never fail. Okay, now yes, now let's analyze the technical indicators. In terms of the technicals, first comes the moving averages. But guys, before that, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon. And if you are looking for these daily precise updates of the S&P 500, Dow Jones in a manner to the entire market every day from Monday through Friday, every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, pre-market, midday update, final update, market opportunities in the premium stock, midweek update, everything. Then you can join my Patreon community. I have given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. And if you want to learn hacks, the hidden hacks, then you can participate in these programs. So again, I have given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. Now, in terms of the technicals, clear fan out in the moving averages. S&P 500 is bullish through the moving averages on the daily chart. S&P 500 is bullish through the Bollinger Bands on the daily chart. S&P 500 is bullish through the Ichimoku cloud on the daily chart. So everything looks good. Okay. MACD is still bullish. Fine, perfect. Stochastic RSI was trying to go bullish, but now there is a problem. There seems a little problem in the stochastic RSI. As you can see, there is a slip. There is a slip, a bearish slip. This is most important, not just a slip, but a bearish slip. Okay, so bearish slip means, again, it is indicating some bearish movement. Okay, a gap down open or irrespective of any open, an initial or intraday bearish movement, and then the pressure means, in short, the pressure. Okay. So this means that S&P 500 is around you can say 85% bullish on the daily chart. 85% bullish on the daily chart. Now the Dow Jones. Now Dow Jones, almost the same condition. Okay, it is bullish through the moving averages on the daily chart, bullish through the Ichimoku cloud on the daily chart, bullish through the Bollinger Bands on the daily chart, bullish through the MACD on the daily chart, and is also bullish through the stochastic RSI. Although stochastic RSI is a little, very little bearish, but it is still in the heavy bullish side. Means this bearishness can be neglected. Okay, so this means that the Dow Jones is like 90% bullish. Dow Jones is 90% bullish on the daily chart. So now the Dow Jones is 90% bullish. S&P 500 is 85% bullish on the daily chart. The trend is bullish on the daily chart. Although and also both of these indices are 80% bullish on the weekly chart. This means that bullish and bullishness is still there. Market is still bullish. It is sustaining bullish. It is trading bullish and is expected to remain bullish provided it fulfills two conditions. S&P 500 has to fulfill one condition and the Dow Jones has to fulfill the other condition. That's it. Okay, and then it is allowed to remain bullish. Okay, this also means that even if there comes a gap down or any bearishness, then that bearishness will be limited and the market will remain recoverable. Okay, and it is exactly the same thing I mentioned, that if there comes a gap down open, okay, or let's say there comes any open, a gap up open or so, then also there will be pressure. It will come down. It will find support at my support level. Okay, if the pressure increases and if it has to lose my support level, then definitely it will have to come down to the moving average, and eventually it will find support, and then there will be a U-turn. There will be a reversal, a bullish reversal. Means irrespective of anything, even if it comes under pressure, then also it will remain recoverable and it can trade bullish. Now in case of the Dow Jones, a bullish movement of the Dow Jones, okay, the bullish movement of the Dow Jones will be 245,074. This is very, very important, and the Dow Jones must move up, must capture, must hit at least hit and breach 45,074. Okay, whether it will be able to close above 45,074 or not, that's a different thing. Okay, but at least it should move up and it should hit, it should try for 45,074, because if it fails here, in that case the moving average will not be able to support this, the 90% bullishness. It will not be able to support, and eventually the pressure will increase, the pressure will grow, and it will have to lose, it will have to come down. Okay, similarly in the S&P 500, although it is bullish, okay, just like the Dow Jones, okay, but it will have to move up. It will have to move up to my expected peak. Again, 6-1. It actually, it's a zone. Okay, expected peak is a small zone. It starts from 614x. But guys, in the next week, whatever is going to happen or whatever will happen, I will keep you posted and I will inform you, okay, in advance before that happens in the market. Precise updates means pre-market update. Pre-market update is generally given at least 1 hour before the open of the stock market. Then after 3 hours, I give the midday update. And this midday update further clarifies, okay, that what is going to happen in the next 3 to 4 hours or for the rest of the session. Then comes the final update. So I give the final update 1 or 2 hours before the closing of the market, and based on the expected closings, whether there will be a gap up open next day, whether there will be a gap down open, whether it will be able to achieve this target, whether it will lose this particular heavy support zone, okay, and what are the chances it will be able to recover, and so and so. Okay. Other than these daily precise updates of the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones, I also give the stock market opportunities in the premium stocks of the US stock market. Top 30, 40 companies, the premium companies of the US stock market. Minimum 5 to 10 every week. And guys, that's not all, because I also give the midweek update, the technical analysis video, just like this one. Okay, but in the midweek update, okay, I keep it very precise. Okay, and also I discuss all of the levels and the zones. Okay, and I emphasize on the levels, zones, and also the closing of the candle. Okay, and then I give you the movement, just like what I mentioned here, and exactly the same was seen in the market on Thursday and Friday. So guys, if you also want to get these daily precise updates of the S&P 500, Dow Jones every day from Monday through Friday, also the stock market opportunities in the premium stock, also the midweek update, video technical analysis, then you can join my Patreon community. I have given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. And when you follow that link, then you will see that this is my Patreon page and this is my Patreon profile. And here you will notice these three levels. Okay, this is all midweek update videos. Okay, so I give this the midweek update, okay, technical analysis every Wednesday or Thursday, and I discuss in detail, okay, the movement which is expected to happen on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. These two are same. The only difference is the geographical location. So when you subscribe to either of these two, then you will be getting, this is the daily S&P 500 updates. So when you subscribe to either of these two, then you will be getting all midweek update videos. Means whatever you are going to get in this tier, you will get that by default in these tiers, in these levels. Other than that, you will be getting daily SP500 analysis, updates, movement, levels, zones, momentum, opportunities, everything. And also you will be getting stock market opportunities minimum 5 to 10 every week. So you are going to get a lot of things, okay, including the movement, okay, opportunities, everything, when you participate in either of these two, levels. And guys, if you notice, many people have joined my Patreon community for last many days, weeks, months, years, and they are getting these daily precise updates of the S&P 500 every day from Monday through Friday, as well as the stock market opportunities, and also the midweek update video technical analysis. And they are very well aware of what is going to happen, what is happening, and why that is happening, what will be the implications, okay, what will happen next, bullish, bearish movement, everything. So guys, whenever you want to join my Patreon community, I have given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. You can follow that link and you can join my Patreon community, and you are welcome. Now guys, I am going to discuss the third and the last point of the agenda of this S&P 500 weekly technical analysis. Okay, and here I will give you the probable movement of the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, and in a manner to the entire market. Means what is going to happen in the entire market in the next week, the week of February 3rd, 2025. Now, you need to understand a few things, or you must know. Number one, this is that on Tuesday, okay, JOLTS, job opening data, will be released. Number two, on Friday, non-farm payroll data will be released, and the unemployment rate. Okay, so in terms of the economic data, okay, so it will be related to the jobs, unemployment. Now comes the earnings. Now in terms of the earnings, Tuesday, okay, Tuesday after market hours, Google will, means Alphabet, okay, will post the earnings, release the earnings, and its impact will be seen on Wednesday. Okay, then on Thursday after market hours, Amazon will post the earnings, and its impact will be seen on Friday. So Wednesday is not expected to be that heavily volatile or so. But yes, Friday will be heavily volatile because Friday, before the open of the stock market, non-farm payroll data and unemployment data will be released. And Thursday after market hours, Amazon will post the earnings, and its impact will be seen on Friday. So these two factors will make the coming Friday, okay, heavily volatile. But because now the giants, when I say the giants, I mean Microsoft, Apple, okay, UNH, United Health Group, Goldman Sachs, okay, they have already posted the earnings. So now the volatility will not be as heavy as it was in the previous week or in the last week. Okay, it will be normal. Whatever heavy volatility that we can see, okay, it is expected to be seen on Friday 7th of February because of the two reasons. Okay, although there will be some volatility on Wednesday also, okay, but otherwise everything's good. Now one more thing, this means that Monday and Tuesday will be blank, kind of virtually blank, because on Tuesday, job opening data will be released. However, this data is not much considered. This means Monday and Tuesday are blank. Blank means that now the market has reasons to sustain and to trade bullish. Okay, but I'm not confirming that the entire US stock market will be able to trade bullish, because the bullish movement is now heavily conditional. Okay, but Monday and Tuesday are blank. Okay, Wednesday onwards, some volatility will be there in the market. Friday, it will be at the peak, it will be high. One more thing, when I say the volatility, I am not talking about VIX volatility index. No. Okay, volatility means that there will be a sudden up, sudden heavy up down, these movements, sudden maybe a heavy gap down open, and then okay, recovery intraday or so. That kind of heavy volatility means heavy movement, means momentum, but momentum, heavy momentum. Okay, now why I am saying again and again that the bullish side movement or it is conditional. Okay, so for that you need to understand. Okay, S&P 500, it has made an all-time high on Friday 24th of January at 6128, and the Dow Jones made an all-time high on 4th of December, Wednesday. This high was 45074. Okay, so what is the importance of these highs? But guys, before that, so far if you have liked this video, then hit like, and this will be seen as an appreciation to my work. And other than that, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon. And also, if you are looking for these daily precise updates of the S&P 500, Dow Jones, and in a manner to the entire market every day from Monday through Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then you can join my Patreon community. I have given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. As of now, on Thursday, okay, see, it was only on Thursday, on 30th of January, when the Dow Jones breached the 45,000 psychological mark, okay, but it closed below 45,000. That's fine. Okay, but because it breached 45,000 psychological mark, this means that on the next day, on this Friday, 31st of January, it was supposed to move up and to test the 45074. However, immediately after open at 45054, it came into open equal to high condition and was seen reluctant and was seen hesitating, and it was showing and it was shy, okay, to test the 45074. Okay, so everyone was waiting for this to happen, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, and then finally in the fourth hour, it gave up. And it actually, okay, it did not give up the hope of this 45074. It actually gave up the 448xx, my heavy support level. That is why I mentioned that everything will remain good and favorable as long as S&P 500 is trading above the zone, including 608x, and the Dow Jones is trading and sustaining above 448xx. And the picture will start to change when the SP500 loses the 608x and the Dow Jones loses the 448xx. The next week, okay, whenever Dow Jones try to move up, its bullish movement will be limited. Now its bullish movement will be limited not to 45074, no. Its bullish movement will be limited to 45054, and that was the open of this candle. Why it will be limited? Number one, that it was in the open equal to high condition means it failed to breach its open price. Okay, for many hours it was seen in this condition. Okay, number two, there is a trend line from the previous all-time high to this high. Okay, that trend line will also suppress any bullish movement. Okay, and then comes number three, and the obvious reason is the psychological reason that it is inching towards its all-time high. Okay, so these are the three reasons that when it try to move up, then even before it can try for 45074, it will be seen reluctant to or around 45054. Okay, once it breaches 45054, I'm saying breach, I'm not saying closing, I'm saying once it breaches 45054, which was the high of this candle, then only there will be a possibility that it can actually hit and test, but still there will not be any 100% confirmation. Now, why I am discussing the Dow Jones here, why I am not emphasizing much on the S&P 500? Okay, because S&P 500 is already, it is on its way to its expected peak, and this peak is the zone. This zone starts from 614x. Okay, this is a small zone and it starts from 614x. Okay, this means that S&P 500 will not be able to move up. No, it will not be able to move up to its zone. Okay, and this is we all are waiting for last many days. Okay, especially for the entire week. Okay, before that here, okay, we were waiting for the S&P 500 to hit, and even before this we were waiting, okay, in the month of December, early December, to so that it can move up and it can hit the zone, but it failed one, it failed two, it failed three times. Now, the bullishness in the S&P 500 will be limited. Now it will be limited to, you can say, like 6,100, simple. Okay, before that comes 608x. Okay, and even before that comes 604x. Okay, although the closing was at 6040, but this is not my calculated level. This means that before S&P 500 can try to move up, okay, before it can show actually bullishness, it must recover and sustain and close above 604x, just like what it did on 28th of January, Tuesday. It managed to breach and close above 604x at 6071, 6067, 6068. Okay, so we need a closing above 604x. Once there comes a closing above 604x, then only 608x will come into the picture. Okay, and from 608x to 6100 there is a little zone. Okay, now once the S&P 500 clears the zone, after clearing the zone it will be moving up, and in that case this the high 6128 will come into the picture. Okay, now before 6128 and between 6100 there is a small resistance level. Okay, it will have to clear that resistance level. Okay, and then it will be moving to 6128, but because 6128 is not my calculated level or my calculated resistance, so eventually once it sustains at this the small uh, resistance level, okay, and then it will have to sustain above 6128 because it is now the all-time high. Okay, this is the only importance of 6128, that it's the all-time high. Once it sustains, then definitely most likely, okay, the zone will come into the picture, the final zone, the expected peak. But all of this bullishness is subjective to what is happening in the Dow Jones. Without the help of the Dow Jones, it is not possible. This bullish movement is not possible. Okay, the bullish movement is possible, but that bullish movement will be limited. Now, support of the Dow Jones in a manner that we need a closing above 45074, so that more bullishness can be seen in the S&P 500. Yes, there may come one scenario. Okay, in this scenario what happens is, okay, or what can happen is that Dow Jones will move up, okay, not necessarily on Monday or Tuesday, okay, on any day Dow Jones starts to move up, moves up, breaches, moves up, hits, breaches 45074, moves beyond 45074. At the same time, S&P 500 has breached 6128 and is heading to the zone 614, the zone which starts from 614x. Okay, Dow Jones moves up beyond this 45074, moving up. Okay, we are seeing very heavy intraday bullish movement, and the S&P 500 has entered into the zone. Then in that case, it won't matter actually whether the Dow Jones closes above 45074 or not, because in that case S&P 500 will be inside the zone. What zone? This is the expected peak of the S&P 500. One thing that can actually help the S&P 500 to sustain longer, even inside the zone, what will that be? That will actually be the closings, back-to-back closings above 45074. This means that if there comes closings above 45074 back-to-back, 2-3 closings, and the S&P 500 at the same time, the S&P 500 is inside the zone. What zone? The zone which starts from 614x. Okay, then rather than giving an instant fall, S&P 500 can actually try to sustain at the zone for 1 or 2 or 3 days, as long as Dow Jones is giving back-to-back closings above this the previous all-time high. Okay, and in actual there is a resistance expected, which will be the expected peak for the Dow Jones itself. Okay, so when the Dow Jones moves to that, and by the time S&P 500 is sustaining, then this means that the entire market will come down at the same time, including the S&P 500, Dow Jones, Nasdaq, their ETFs, SPY, QQQ, means everything. Entire market will come down at that time. And if you're my Patreon community member, whenever this happens, then I will tell you that how soon it is going to give up, either immediately within the day, or it is going to sustain for 1 or 2 days and then it will give up. Okay, this was the bullish side. Now comes the bearish side. Bearish side is subject to 604x in the S&P 500 in very simple, very plain words. 604x. There must come a closing or back-to-back closings. Okay, 2 consecutive closings. Okay, above 604x, so that more bullish movement can be seen. But if there comes closing, see, this closing is below the level 604x. Although it is 6040, but it is below my calculated level. Okay, this is the first closing. If there comes a second closing below 604x, then the bullish side, for now we need to wait for some more days, a few more days. But before that, there will be some fall, a limited fall, not heavy fall, a limited fall. Okay, it will be coming down. It will be coming down to 59xx. Okay, to be precise, it will be in 593x. Okay, before that 596x. Okay, then 593x. Okay, it will be coming down to the levels. Okay, to find the support. And in case of the Dow Jones is going to find the support at for now. Okay, it is there the immediate support, and then comes the moving average, second moving average, and moving averages are very close to my levels. Okay, and then eventually it will be 439xx. Okay, the level that will handle the fall. Okay, means for now, because it is 85% bullish on the daily chart, 80% bullish on the weekly chart, so bullishness is there. This means that any fall will be limited, and the levels, and because now the moving averages are very near to my level, this means that the moving averages themselves, okay, will be very strong. Okay, so this will actually act as very strong support, and then limited fall, and then a reversal. Okay, but again you need to understand that even if there comes a fall, okay, means there comes a second closing below 604x. Okay, my this calculated level, there comes a limited fall, then also there will be chances, very good chances, for a bullish reversal. Okay, any day within the week. Okay, bullish reversal, not just any day, but even intraday bullish reversal is also allowed. Why? Because technically it is bullish, right? Everything will remain means okay. Everything will remain okay. As long as S&P 500 gives up and sustains at 593x. Simple. Once it loses 593x, then situation will change, and in that case, this fall can simply, change this the picture. Okay, technicals will change, turn, and then it will enter into the neutral trend. Okay, up to 593x, fine, because it can come down and can hold and sustain. Okay, up to 593x, then also okay, it can recover. It will remain recoverable. Losing 593x will actually create a problem for the S&P 500. But guys, whatever will happen, I will keep you posted through these daily precise updates every day to my Patreon community members. And if you have not yet joined my Patreon community, then I've given the link in the description of the video and also in the comment section. Guys, now it's very much clear that the bullish movement will be limited and also the bearish movement will remain limited. Bullish movement is limited, bearish movement is limited, and both are conditional. Bearish movement is limited by the technicals because technically it is 80%, 85% bullish. Bullish movement is limited by the level. Okay, especially in the Dow Jones, the 45074. Okay, there will be a bad condition, a really bad condition, and that bad condition will be that the Dow Jones moves up, breaches 45074, trades above beyond 45074, and closes below 45074. Means moves up, retraces, intraday fall, and closes below 45074. It is rejection. It is a rejection. This rejection will bring heavy fall in the Dow Jones itself and also in the S&P 500. Anyways, I will keep you posted through my daily precise updates Monday through Friday if you're my Patreon community member. So you need not to worry about these bullish movement, bearish movement, fall or so. Okay. So you'll be informed in advance even before this happens. So guys, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon and hit like if you have liked my video, and in this manner you can show your appreciation for my work. And guys, if you have any questions that you want to ask, then please feel free to ask your question through the comment section.